lids have gone down, as you see. Now look at the nose on the U8, the Beacon Electric. It's being pushed forward toward the center of the river.
Yeah, if you look down the river, they're looking into the sun, into turn one, and they're going into the wind. Very difficult to see the actual distance, the depth of perception to the turn-in pylon down at the very end of the straightaway, to be honest.
5 minutes. 5 minutes, here we go. Boats are coming out on the race course. Who's going to get out first? Anybody want to take a shot? Looks like Corey wants to come pretty quick. He and Mike are going to come, and there comes Andrew at the end of the row, and Jamie Nielsen's going to come out with him. So we're going to come out pretty much 4 wide away from the dock. It's time to go racing for the Indiana Governor's Cup. J. Michael Kelly is the first boat to head down the front straightaway because they can actually race right off the dock here. And if Mike wanted to, look, Mike went to an inside lane down there, and Corey just moved outside of him. So it was a quick jump off the dock. He got all the way to the left. He got to the inside. But now look at this maneuver here by Jamie Nielsen in the U11. Jamie Nielsen has cut the race course coming out of the pit area. And I'm being told that is okay. That rule has changed over the years, and apparently that is a maneuver. I said something incorrect then later on, or earlier today, when I said they had to go all the way down to the bottom. So Jamie is able to do that. Jamie's at the top end. Coming up behind him up the backstretch is J. Michael Kelly. Quite a ways behind him is Corey Peabody, and then Andrew Tate is behind the field coming up.
Well, Jamie is certainly making a bid for the inside lane one. I had predicted that Mike was the one who was going to go for lane one uncontested, and now at this point we have a little bit of a chess game going on to see who can get lane one, and lane 2 or 3 may at this point fall to Peabody.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting because if Kelly ran in 2 with Nielsen in 1, that might work out well for J. Michael Kelly. Now, everybody's going to cut the course with the exception of Andrew Tate. He's going to go all the way down to the bottom end of the race course. Now, Jamie's going to slow down, and watch Jamie. He is going to just go that slow and make sure he is at the start-finish line at 1 minute and 15 seconds. He's going to kill quite a bit of time, but he can do it now. JMK goes in front of him. Mike can do pretty much whatever he wants, but remember, we're at 2:53 here. You cannot cross the start-finish line before 1:15, which means if they go across the line, they're going to have to loop around and come back again. Jamie is going to sit there and just plow this thing out and stay there in 1. So keep an eye on Mike, see if he doesn't hook the corner here. And he's going to. You could hear him pull his foot as he came down the front straightaway. And look at Andrew Tate's right there. Now watch Corey and Andrew. Watch Corey and Andrew. Andrew is coming up the backstretch. Corey's coming over there. Andrew has the right of way here. He cannot make Andrew move. Andrew had the right of way because he was the boat that was already established on the course. That's a big deal, Tanner. And now they are all up at the top end, and those 3 boats are going to encounter Jamie Nielsen, but Jamie is plowing water. Jamie is plowing water. It is certainly, the door is wide open if somebody wanted to jump inside on Jamie Nielsen. Now you get a look at it there. Jamie is not yet to the entrance pin of the corner. Mike is already up ahead of him, but Mike is not tight on the buoy row. From the drone shot there, you can see there's a spot for Jamie if he wants to go in 1. And Corey Peabody has dropped down off ground idle again. Remember, he talked about that.
Yes.
The smoke came out of the back of the boat earlier. It just did again, but he's been able to spool it back up. So he's back, well, kind of spool it back up. He may be giving up some position here. We are at 1 minute and 30 seconds. They've got to stay behind that line for the next 15 seconds. So here comes Jamie in 1. It's Mike in 2, it's Corey in 3, and it's Andrew in 4. This is not the start. 2-1 mark. And that's clearly a legal score up. Mike has dropped off a plane now. Come on, Mike. Mike has definitely dropped off a plane. This is not good news for J. Michael Kelly. He's getting it re-spooled, but this is going to put him behind everybody. I would very much suspect he's going to be able to catch up the field and be with them at the start. But Tanner, that's going to stick him on the far outside.
It's interesting because I thought Mike was going to choose the inside. He had the option to take the inside just before crossing the line, and he's the only one who's experienced the inside out of this group, and he left that up to Jamie Nielsen. So maybe he just knows it's a bit worse than Nielsen may expect. But at this point, it doesn't matter. He's going to get shuffled probably to the outside of the first time that we've had 4 boats around this tight little track.
Yeah, so here we go. Coming up on 25 seconds. It's Nielsen in 1. It's Peabody in 2. It's Andrew in 3. Here comes Mike with a whole bunch of boat speed. He's going to come up behind everybody. I think Mike's thought on that inside lane was he would have been in 2, but he didn't want to be outside of Peabody or Tate. Now, coming off the top end, looking at our clock, not seeing it, but we're 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1. Mark, boy, I think it's really close, but I also think it's legal. 4 boats are going to go down to the bottom end of the race course. There's a great view there. It is Andrew Tate on the outside with about a 4-boat length lead as they're going to get to the entrance pin. Careful, guys, it's rough down there. You see Corey really falling in a hole. Corey really took a bad hop down there. I think he came out clean. He think he did. I don't see him. Yeah, that might have been him that is back behind the field, but it is Andrew Tate. He is way out in front by a full rooster tail after Corey got caught in the slop in the rough water. He is losing speed, and he is going to drop down and off a plane. Coming down to put the first of 4 laps in a book. It is Andrew Tate in the U91, the Goodman Real Estate, and he's got a big lead, Tanner.
He sure does. He's stretching it out. Corey, you could see on the inside, he's doing everything to hang that skid fin in the water and just started hopping towards the rooster tail. And it looked like he may have impacted that water, but he's stuck on the course now.
Yeah, now I'm just keeping an eye on Andrew Tate as he goes through that same sloppy water down there that Corey Peabody did, and that definitely cost Corey a shot at picking up this Governor's Cup race, because when he finally got it squared away and got his RPM back up, Andrew Tate was gone. Lap number 2, and remember, we're only going 4 times around. Andrew Tate's got a 3, maybe 4 rooster tail lead here, and his spotters now, Tanner, are just telling him where the good water is. They're telling him right now to go to about lane number 3. That's the best water. You got plenty of room between anybody. Just defend your position and stay clean. Andrew Tate. Here comes Kelly off the top end of the race course, our second place boat. He will come down and cross start finish line now.
Well, Kelly has certainly recovered well from being last across the line, using that outside line as much as he can. Peabody again has stalled, so he's still floating across in that treacherous turn 2. Luckily, everybody has clear sight of him as they come in, but I see the officials stroking their beards and wondering what they're going to do here. We'll see what happens with Peabody's location.
Well, the spotters are telling the drivers like Andrew Tate, who's right now approaching Corey Peabody. There's the entrance pin. You'll see couldn't go by Corey. There he was. He went inside Corey Peabody. The spotters are telling him where they are, so they know where Corey is, and they've all seen him twice. So this has turned into a bit of a parade. In fact, it's turned into a whale of a parade here. And Andrew Tate puts 3 in the book. This is lap number 4. This is the final lap for the Indiana Governor's Cup at the 75th Madison Regatta. J. Michael Kelly comes off the top end, and really it's the same thing for him, Tanner. His spotters are telling him where the clean water is. He just wants to hold off Jamie, and they'll let him know if Jamie does something silly like try and make a move, but that's not going to happen. It's a matter of just finishing. And our leader, we will bring him around, is halfway up the backstretch. He is Andrew Tate, U91, Goodman Real Estate, the boat owned by Bruce Ratchford. Ratchford Racing, BWR Racing. This would be the first ever victory for Bruce Ratchford. And he's about to claim a trophy here on the Ohio River at Madison, Indiana. Bruce Ratchford, your boat looks really, really good, and it is Andrew Tate walking off with the Indiana Governor's Cup on the water. At least the boat still does have to go through technical inspection. Congratulations, Bruce Ratchford and Ratchford Racing. Our second place boat is going to be J. Michael Kelly.
Wasn't the line he chose. It wasn't exactly the way he wanted to do it, but second place for JMK today with all of the problems he said he was having with the boat earlier, not necessarily having the high speed, something he's got to be happy with.
Yep, and here comes a team that I think is going to be pretty happy with the way things turned out in the very end. It's Jamie Nielsen of the U11 of his flavor pack. Jamie across start finish line. He will come home in 3rd place, finishing on the podium. You know about that in racing. That's a good thing when you're on the podium.
It is a good thing, and you've got Peabody, who I've lost track, actually. I mean, I'm not sure if this is the 4th lap or the 3rd lap, but he's got it running. He's running the far outside of the course, and if he finishes, he can still collect some points.
Oh yeah, he's got this. This has been done. It's over. Corey comes by on his little cool-off lap.
Now, I think Corey's got to complete another lap.
Yeah, I think he does too. He had a green flag that was waving on him at that one, so he has a certain amount of time to finish. But the good news, I think, for everybody here is that we put 4 boats on the water. We put 4 boats on this narrow race course, and we ran them into a pretty stiff breeze down there at the bottom end of the race course. And all 4 boats are going to come back to the pit area and back to the dock under their own power, and that's always a good sign. So on the water, it is Bruce Ratchford's first ever victory as an owner. Congratulations, Mr. Ratchford. J. Michael Kelly, the first boat back to the dock, but you're looking at the U91. The Goodman Real Estate. The Goodman Real Estate with Andrew Tate. All right, so I understand we are ready now to hear from Tanner Faust. So, Tanner, take it away if you can hear me. You are standing by with our winner, Andrew Tate.
Here with Andrew Tate, making it 2 for 2. Congratulations. Yeah, 2 for 2 in Madison. Last year, I heard your discussion here with Erica, and, I mean, it was a pretty special moment in front of Madison. I mean, now, second time around, same feeling?
It's, for me, yeah, for sure. You always like to come out on top, and Madison's a special place for me and my family, so to do well here, you know, we're not exactly Miss Madison this year, but my heart will always have a piece of my heart will always stay here in Madison. So there's a lot of fans that are here that kind of hung with us throughout the whole weekend. I think they were the real winners to get to see a final heat today. So thanks for sticking it out, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the show.
So real quick, heading into turn 1 with the glare in the sun late in the day, difficult to get depth perception on when to turn in?
Yeah, you kind of go off landmarks a little bit. You know, you got the big smokestacks back here that never move. So if you can kind of reference those and then pick up the buoys from there when you come off the corner, that's kind of the easy way to go about it, at least in my opinion. But it was difficult running into the sun, you know. Turn 1 was nasty, just like it's been all weekend, but I'm really glad we got the race here. The water wasn't too bad. I think it laid down a little bit for us, but credit to H1 and the officials for getting us out there.
Yeah, it was great that they ran the final. There was some controversy at the very end. Was the race official? Was it not? Just before you walked up, it was official. 91 is the winner. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much to Bruce Ratchford. I know you're watching at home. John Goodman and Kelly Norris, they were here all weekend. They took off to go home just before the final. So it's 2 years in a row they missed the final, and 2 years we won. So maybe they could come hang out for the weekend and then hit the road early next time too. But thank you guys very much.
That's painful words. Brad, back to you. It's official.
Thank you very much, Tanner. Great job talking down there. I honestly think there was a little bit of gun jumping going on there with things being official, because it literally, within the last 10 seconds, just became so. And it is official now. It is official. The U91 has won the event. The question did not surround the U91 and Andrew Tate. The question surrounded the U9 and the Beacon Plumbing. What happened to Corey Peabody was Corey Peabody incurred 2 separate lane infraction penalties. Those are 1-minute penalties, but once you receive 2 of those 1-minute penalties, you are disqualified. So Corey Peabody will be disqualified from the final heat of the Indiana Governors Cup for 2025. But it did not affect the boat that was out front, and I believe one of those infractions took place in the milling period. In fact, I think both of them took place in the milling period, and one of them certainly had to be when Corey cut the race course over here, and it was Andrew coming up the backstretch. He had established a lane on the race course, and I'm telling you, this was a massive rule discussion during the off season. We had an issue at one of our races a year ago, specifically at the Seattle Sea Fair on Lake Washington, involving a boat coming from the center of the race course and coming close to or interfering with a boat that had already established a lane on the race course. And one thing led to another. It led to our competition committee, our rules and competition committee, taking a long look at that rule, and it got rewritten. And unfortunately, that's the rule that's going to hit Corey Peabody, or at least it is one of the 2 rules that is going to hit him, because he was a boat that was, quote unquote, entering the race course. He was coming from the center. Andrew Tate was coming up the backstretch. Either way, the boat out front and the boat that is the champion is Andrew Tate. U91, the Goodman Real Estate, the boat owned by BWR Racing. That is Bruce Ratchford. That is his first ever win as an H1 Unlimited owner. And I just stopped and kind of thought about that myself when I was talking about the incident last year on Lake Washington that caused what happened out here this afternoon. Involved the same two boats, but the other way around. It was, actually it was Corey that had come from the infield again, but the rule was changed, and so the outcome is a little bit different there, although I don't think anything was going to stop Andrew Tate. He was rocking, he was rolling, and once Corey hit the holes down there in the lower corner on lap 1, Andrew Tate was gone. And the Goodman Real Estate had been a rocket all weekend. They had the one hiccup when they tried to jump inside Corey during a preliminary heat, and the fire got put out. The boat went down to ground idle. Andrew had to pick it back up. When he did, the field was gone, and he ended up in third place. Besides that, they had a very, very dominant weekend.